The National Hispanic Scientist of the Year Award was developed in 2001 with a mission to recognize outstanding national Hispanic scientists who promote a greater public understanding of science and motivate an interest in science among today's youth. This year's winner, Dr. Raul Cuero, a scientist and inventor who credits discipline and creativity for his successes in science.
I never dreamed to be who I am today. I never had a hero. I never had a model. But my parents, who were illiterate, they didn't know how to read and write, and they told me, you go and learn how to read and write, because they didn't know. So you don't have to go to load and unload cargo at the dock like they were doing. And when I got my degree in sciences, very few poor people was into science. Science was for the elite. The profession was medicine, law, or teacher. But to be a scientist in those times, in the 70s, was very rare. However, I knew that despite of being a good student, I was not going to have a job, period. So I had to create something for helping people. So once I'm into science, how can I help people? And I realized that I had to create something that people need for their own benefit. So I will be integrated to society as well, rather than being assimilated. And I have been successful with myself, 25 inventions. And of course, I live very decent. And I had this part of creativity in different parts, including the United States and Colombia. And I have a headquarters in Israel. And I use the diversity who made America so great. In 1996, I submitted a proposal about life on Mars at NASA. And I proposed that electroconductivity is very important to identify life on the environment, especially in the soil, because life is not on the atmosphere, but it's on the soil. So it took 3 years for NASA to accept my proposal, and they accepted finally with a small budget. So I started working on it using a soil similar to Mars soil. It was not the same, but a soil that was constructed by NASA. It was 80% similar. And they were using it for something else, and I used it to prove how life could evolve in that condition. And then in the process of doing so, I discovered two things. I discovered that this soil has a nanoparticle property. That means it is able to deactivate metals such as lead, uranium, all these toxins, and radionuclide like uranium. So I discovered that part. Also, I discovered a protein by doing so, by doing that process. I discovered that the soil could have an anti-ultraviolet radiation property. The anti-UV is very important because now I had the genes of that protein, and I cloned those genes into plants. And when I clone into plants, the fiber of the plant become anti-UV, so you can make dress for going to space for the people going in the future. And they also you could do other things with it. You protect the plants, because the plant, the UV tend to destroy the vitamin of the plant. And also the same protein is good against for global warming. The kids should be more into science than technology. We're making a mistake these days and putting too much emphasis in the technology. But the emphasis should be in science, because science is the one who creates the technology. And the country is having a little bit of deflection on the progress, because they're putting too much emphasis on the downstream, which is technology, rather than the upstream with science. Science creates technology. So if we work on science, we'll be continuing being the powerful country as always we have been.
More than 2,000 students from underserved communities and low-income schools will enjoy an exciting day of mentoring with Dr. Cuero.
Well, my father was a high school professor of sciences. He did aeronautics for a while, so he's always fascinated me, gotten me into science. But yes, this definitely helped a lot. Well, I like the unknown of the science. There is so much in the world that we don't know. There's so much that we do know. So I like the concept of exploring the unknown and finding out how the world works.
Coming to Hispanic Scientists of the Year, I don't get to take just my students. I do take some, but it opens up to all the students at the school, where we have the opportunity where they wouldn't normally get to come to the museum on a field trip.